Nation, lemon heads. Look, as they say, we outside. It's Lemon Live at 5, and it's great to be with you on this lovely Friday. I thought we'd do something different because it is a summer Friday, and I hope you're having a great summer Friday. You see that handsome gent on the screen. I'm going to introduce you in a second. Introduce him in a second, but I just want to tell you again, once again, I'm so sorry for being a little bit late yesterday. Well, actually, a lot late yesterday. I appreciate it as we hear the birds in my backyard. But I promise I'm going to make it up to you today. And here to help me out with that is my fabulous co-pilot, George Hahn. George is a style consultant. He's a self-made thousandaire playboy, and he's a good friend of mine, and I think he's fantastic. George, how you doing?
I'm great, Don. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. What do you think? I'm having a little tequila with lime and
You're do
soda.
Oh gosh. See,
I'm
yeah, I
in the
should have.
backyard.
You're
It's
doing
a,
this right.
it's a summer Friday, and where are you with your headphones on? You've been a busy, busy person today. I spoke to you earlier, and you were at the headquarters of, was it Spotify? You were doing something.
I was at Vox Media,
Vox Media, yeah.
where one can find me every Friday at around the midday time, recording Scott Galloway's "No Mercy, No Malice" newsletter. I do the audio version of it.
Oh, that's great. Scott is a friend of both of ours. I love that guy. I really love that guy. He objectifies me a lot, though. It's a little bit weird, but we'll let it go.
I mean, he makes me feel dirty but seen, you know, which really is the ultimate game. Make me feel dirty, but as long as you're making me feel seen, I'm down with
Oh
it.
my
But yeah,
gosh.
listen, if Love and Scott's wrong, I don't want to be right.
So George is on. If you know George, let us know in the comment box. If you have questions or comments for George, let me know. But I hope you know him, and if not, let me introduce you to him. George Hahn, as I said, is a self-made thousandaire playboy. He does several. He's like a social media guru. He's also a very good friend of Kara Swisher, as am I. And I'm sure you will notice, George, I'm wearing my Pride shirt because it is Pride. And again, it's Friday. So the Lemon Nation, you should know, George, they have a lot of questions. This is our show where we speak to our subscribers, where we build our community, and where they get to actually interact with us and they get to ask questions. And so, there you go. So say hi to the Lemon Nations, the Lemon Heads, as we call them.
Lemon heads. Hello, hello. You didn't get to do this on your other platform, your previous
No,
employer. This was you kind of
no.
running your own show here.
Exactly, and I love it. And people, I saw someone online saying, "Oh my gosh, Don Lemon is a YouTuber now." I'm like, well, I'm more than a YouTuber. I have my own show, I have my own production company. I do many more things than just this. But I have to tell you, George, before we get into, we have several breaking news stories, by the way, that we want to tell you about. As it involves, one of them involves Donald Trump and the jury and Judge Marchand in the case of the falsifying business documents, where he was found guilty on 34 counts. There's some news in that. But I do want to say, George, I figured out, I didn't realize this when I was in traditional media. This is where it's at. I was actually missing out, or maybe I hit a wave. I don't know.
Well, you're a couple of things about that. You are coming into this game a very known, respected, and liked quantity. You're not some stranger starting off a little YouTube channel or a TikTok venture. You're done, Lemon. You know what I mean? So that alone, because of the time you spent at CNN building your brand, and you had that platform to sort of establish credibility, it gives you sway and access. Some people your name alone is gonna open doors and attract audiences that the average person cannot. However, um, what you have discovered and what other people have discovered is that there is no gatekeeper, really. You
Mhm.
kind of run your own show, as I just said earlier, and you can structure it the way you want to. You kind of don't have to answer to anybody other than your audience, really, I guess, if you look at it
Mhm.
that way. But um, and there is, I don't know about you, when I go swimming in this pool, it's there's a liberation to it. It's liberating, but at the same time, you don't have the benefit of that large like rocket sort of fueling you, and it's a heavier lift when you're on your own. But
Yeah, well, I
yeah,
kind of like it. I don't mind it. I mean, I think considering where I started in this and where we are now, it's just like I think it's 9 weeks in, maybe a little bit longer. And by the time, I think by July 1, we'll have just in that amount of time. Just on YouTube, we'll have 200,000 subscribers.
Amazing.
And the day of the verdict, we had, basically the demo of a primetime cable show watching us, 100,000 people watching us with the verdict, and to not have that engine, as you say, behind you, I think that was pretty impressive. And so I think the room for growth is only going up, especially with the subscribers, with the elimination, building the community, and that's why I do this. At first, George, I had just the tape shows that we did. I would do taped takes, and I went to my producer, Jonathan Walden. I said, I feel like we should be speaking to the subscribers. Why don't we just try to do a live show at 5 o'clock every day and call it Lemon Live? And he said, let's do it. And I started doing it from my living room, and those shows started getting more people watching, more views than the actual tape shows many times. So I'm so glad that we, started doing this, and I hopefully you're doing something similar. I hope.
Well, I am, and you brought up something that made me also realize one of the other perks to doing the thing that you're doing is that your pitch meeting to make this happen was a phone call or a text with Jonathan. You know what I mean? You didn't have to go through meetings and all those layers of no, as I call it. Like there was no, you like, let's try this. Okay, sure, let's do it. And also, what you're doing, what I'm doing, what Kara, Scott, and a lot of our friends are doing is engaging in this sort of digital environment we're in. This is a medium of growth, whereas cable news, like your traditional linear cable news platform, feels to me like it's a lot of managing decline.
Yeah.
I don't think that audience is growing. It doesn't feel like a growth business. I mean, in the strict linear sense, like got to catch so and so at a certain time, kind of a thing. Even I feel terrible. Like our friend Kara is on Chris Wallace on Saturday mornings. I never catch it at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not appointment viewing, I guess. Maybe that's the term I'm looking for. I rarely feel that. But yes, I am doing something similar. I have my little one-man podcast for my Patreon subscribers.
The same thing. I haven't seen the show. I don't really watch much anymore, but I have great friends, obviously, who are in cable news, and they are the best journalists in the world. And they do a great job. It's just we do something similar, but it's a different sort of distribution mechanism and a different sort of viewing mechanism. But all of it's really television, right? I mean, in a way, it's either you're streaming it or you're watching it with cable or whatever. Okay, so George, let's discuss some news, and then you and I are going to have a little fun. I'm going to tell you what George and I are going to discuss, and then we're going to get to the breaking news, okay? So George and I are going to talk about this D-Day misinformation that's going on about the president, and it is really, really, really disgusting what's happening. I cannot believe that we have stooped to this level. They did it a bit in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. They did it somewhat in 2020 with Joe Biden, but this is a whole new level. We're also going to talk about the black and brown men and women of the Maga movement, not the Republicans, but black and brown women and men of the Maga movement. That's why the thumbnail said, hey, Maga, are you okay? We're going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Green because there are certain things that George and I are over, and I'm fed up. I'm sick of it. And one of them is Marjorie Taylor Green. Gay pride and the corporate, as we call it, pinkwashing. We'll talk about that. George really has a bug up his you-know-what about what's happening in New York City. It may not be a story that you are familiar with, and you may not have much interest in it, but it's going to come to a city near you soon. And that is this congestion pricing. There's been a flip-flop. George believes it's going to affect the environment negatively, so he's all fired up about that. We'll give him a bit to talk about that. Maybe you are interested as well. And anything else that is bothering Mr. George Hahn this evening. So we have this breaking news. Let me see if I have any updates. So I'm not sure. So it has been taken down. I'm just going to say this is what we're following. So we're not sure what is happening with it. But someone put this out earlier, and let me read to you what it says and what is happening. Okay, because this is from allegedly, as they say, from the court system that someone put on YouTube, that today the court became aware of a comment. This is from Judge Marchand, okay, George, and I want you to respond to it. in the matter of people versus Trump. Again, we're following it. We need to double check to make sure. It says, today the court became aware of a comment that was posted on the Unified Court System's public Facebook page, and which I now bring to your attention. In the comment, the user, Michael Anderson, states, my cousin is a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all your hard work. Now, the comment, now labeled as 1 week old, responded to a routine USC notice posted on May 29, 2024 regarding oral arguments in the 4th Department, blah, 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 appellate division. Again, but all parties have been made aware of it. I'm not sure if that affects the case. We don't know who it is. Again, we're checking the authenticity of it. George, your response, please, to that.
It's hard to say because whoever left that comment could have left it. It could have gone either way. Do you know what I'm saying? So do we know? I'm not a journalist, but the character of journalist in me wants to know. We need to know the veracity,
right,
of this guy's comment. Was in fact one of the jurors his cousin? And, were there conversations? I mean, that's something that has to be looked at if that is the case. But this comment on Facebook that you're talking about, I can't give it any weight yet. Yeah, we have to look at it, but this could be completely not true.
It could be anybody.
Facebook is not a hotbed of facts necessarily.
Yeah.
So yes, let's look at it, and as we say, time will tell.
That is a good answer. Okay.
Time will tell.
All right, well, let's go on. Let's discuss what's happening in the world. So we'll continue to follow that. We're going to make sure, check the veracity of that report, and just to make sure that it's even accurate or that it's real. But again, if that's something that is happening, it is very serious, and I'm sure it's going to affect the case. And people are concerned because look what happened with Bonnie Willis. One thing that happened affected the entire case and whether it even goes forward. Okay, we'll continue on now. So thank you for that. So George, MAGA is at it again. They're sinking to yet another new low. Biden is overseas observing the 80th anniversary of D-Day, paying tribute to fallen Americans. And what is MAGA doing right now? Not remembering our nation's heroes. That's what they're doing. They're not remembering our nation's heroes. They're pumping out doctored videos of the president. And it's not just random low-level Republicans. It's folks like the VP shortlister, Marco Rubio. So let's put up Marco Rubio. This is what he tweeted. He tweeted out this video that you'll see up there on your screen shortly. And Marco Rubio's, I'm wondering, what are you doing, Marco Rubio? He's a man of color. He's doing some crazy stuff. I don't know why he's doing it. So Marco Rubio put that up there. But let's look at the video. And I want to play the video that he has in its entirety. So let's watch the doctored video, and then we'll play the real one. So there's a doctored video. You see the doctored video up on your screen, and it just sort of stops. It looks like the president is having an issue, and he's just sort of sitting there, and you're wondering well, what is he doing? Why is he sitting there? And people are making these disgusting jokes about what he's doing. So that's a doctored video. So I want to play the real video for you. This is what actually happened. Did you see that?
That was it?
Yeah. So in the video, it is Marco Rubio saying, "Oh, there's a problem." I forget what if you have the tweet, put it up. So Marco Rubio is saying there's a problem. Why can't we need to figure out something like this? What's really going on with him? It looks like he's having an issue. The painfully obvious truth about Biden isn't just politically embarrassing; it is dangerous. So it makes it look like he's having an issue. He's about to pass out, and then they just stop it. But the actual video, we can play it as we're talking to George, shows him he's waiting for folks to sit down. They're waiting for the folks to come in. The president is about to sit down, and then the first lady sits down, and then the president and the first lady of France sit down. And so they try to make you think that he's having an issue. Now, Marco Rubio removed the tweet after, I guess, people started calling him out on Twitter. But, what do you think of that? I think it's just disgusting. And on D-Day, no doubt.
Yeah. Couple of things. First of all, Rubio should know better. This is beneath any thinking person or anybody with a code of ethics. But Rubio should have known better. Especially if somebody of Rubio's stature. Check your facts, man. You're an adult. That's something that I would expect that actually from Marjorie Taylor Green, or maybe Lauren Boebert. And also, MAGA's power play with this video was to make Biden look like he's passing a kidney stone,
Yeah.
and also easily debunked,
Yeah.
as we've just shown here, or you've just shown. Stupid.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see a lot of this, I'm guessing, up until the first week in November, where there are going to be these videos, and even from the left, which is going to be a bummer, but videos that are going to mess with people like this. And again, easily debunked. I think it's silly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. So you're asking, this is MAGA playbook. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's they go low.
Well, do
That's
you
how
remember
they
in
roll.
2016 what they did with Hillary Clinton? They did something very similar where they showed her shaking her head no, but then they tried to make it seem like she was having some sort of episode. She had the issue at the 9/11 memorial, which was the flu, but they tried to make her seem like she was incompetent, she was about to die, and Hillary Clinton is still going strong. So that's the evidence in this. You can easily doctor a video, and then they did the same thing in 2020 with President
And everything
Biden.
she said in 2016 has come to pass.
Could you say it louder for the people in the back?
Not only was she not sick, but she was a bit of a prophetess.
Yeah.
Where everything she said about Donald Trump has come to pass. But please continue. I interrupted.
Yeah. Cindy D says it's Republican deception. It's crazy. Nothing can be put below someone called them deplorables. I'm not going to call that. So people in the chat understand some of our questions from the folks who are in the chat. Hillary is one smart lady, says Kathy Christian. Marjorie Taylor Green is a sorceress of evil, says Sherry Baby 80. Bernie C says, love Hillary. Obviously, it's not Bernie Sanders. That would be Bernie S. And I'm not sure how much he loves Hillary. But when you say, check your facts, Rubio says, Maureen Marfell. I just remember what they did again to Hillary Clinton in 2016. And then in 2020, they tried to do it to Joe Biden. And they said he would never make it as president. And here we are, almost 4 years into his presidency. He's still going strong. He's had one of the most successful presidencies in modern history, despite George Hahn of having an obstructionist Senate and Congress and the MAGA people like the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world.
Look, they have nothing in terms of what to offer people other than grievance and anger. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything that they're offering or putting forth.
Yeah.
Their big Biden crime family play. Just the other day, I was listening to the facts, for example, this is a little off track, but not really, the Hunter Biden case. And I'm going like, wow, this is your play?
Yeah.
Against the quote unquote Biden crime family. You had a guy who was in the throes of grief about his brother. And as a recovering alcoholic and addict myself, I'm going like, go to any meeting. And what Hunter Biden, the excerpt they used from his book, that's a 7 a.m. meeting on a Tuesday. Like, this is your big deal. Like, he was drunk and he bought a gun and he lied on the application. This is where they're playing. It's not particularly substantive at all. It's dirty ball, and because it's all they got. It's all they got.
I want to talk to you more about that whole addiction thing, because I've been saying that there's not a family or a person in America that has not been touched by addiction, whether it's yourself or someone in your family or someone you know that hasn't been touched by addiction. Now, I've been telling my audience, and I told Anthony Scaramucci on the show that we have, one of the shows that we have up now, that I've been listening to Democrats on cable news. I've been listening to them on social media. I've been listening to them on broadcast news. I've been reading, things what they're saying in the paper. And every Democrat to a person says, Hunter Biden, if he did something wrong, then he should face the consequences of it. And they're not making excuses for his prosecution. What they are saying is that, but he does have a problem. He's not in his right mind. And also that Hunter Biden is not running the country. He's not president of the United States. So the difference is that Democrats are saying he should be prosecuted, he should face whatever consequences that he has to face. But Republicans are saying Donald Trump is a victim and he should not be in court and he should not be prosecuted and everyone is out against him. It is, I like to call it, what is it, cognitive dissonance that's happening on the Republican side.
It's not apples and oranges. This is apples and like gravel. Like there's no comparison. Hunter Biden is not in office. He's not running for office. He is an acknowledged and admitted alcoholic and addict.
He's a problem person. He is problems.
Right.
Yeah.
And as someone who, as I said, has been through similar things, I never tried to buy a gun, but let's just put it this way. When someone's in the throes of active addiction, all bets are off.
Mm-hmm.
And bad things are going to happen. That's why we want them to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trump is allegedly not on anything. But what Trump does is from a position of power. The Republicans are like Trump is punching down. Hunter Biden is not in a position of power. He has no more power than Don Jr. or Eric.
Well, there's a difference because Don Jr. and Eric actually work for their father's company. They're running it. And
this is true.
The daughter was an advisor in his campaign. So I think they are a little bit they're even more relevant than to what's happening in the world as far as policy and whatever than Hunter Biden.
Fair point. Yeah. But to go after the guy, what they're doing is going after the son, the addicted, alcoholic, grieving son of a political opponent they hate. That's what this is.
Yeah. So
and it's the only thing they got.
I'm over it. And
samesies.
I'm over it. So let's talk about, because you and I talked about it. We're going to talk about some of the things we've had it with. I've had it with that. I've had it with MAGA. I've also had it, George. I've had it with the black and brown men and women of MAGA. Of the MAGA movement. I've really had it with them because
Tell me about that. What is up with that?
I don't know, because it's so obvious that the MAGA party doesn't want them in. Have they ever been to a Trump rally? Have they ever spoken to a MAGA person? Just by giving you lip service does not mean that someone supports you. And I look around and I'm like, what are you doing? For me, it's like being MAGA and gay. Do you know what I mean? And there are those. Have you been to Palm Beach? It's gay pride. Have you been to Palm Beach? I'm like, wait, really, guys? But let's stick with the blacks, as we say now.
Yeah.
So I'm not. And listen, don't get me wrong. I want to be clear about this, George, and I think you'll agree. I'm not talking about black and brown Republicans. You can be, if you're black and brown and you want to be a Republican, that is your business. I'm specifically talking about the MAGA movement because I think it's very dangerous. And I'm not talking about the Michael Steeles of the world, right? Who's part of, there's a crazy squirrel that just scared me, just ran around the tree. The Michael Steeles of the world. I'm talking about the MAGA nuts like Byron Donalds and Tim Scott. Tim Scott, I just love you, man. And Byron Donalds of the, Jim Crow, black people were better off. But I want to remind you of what Byron Donalds had the audacity to say this week. Here it is, and then George and I'll discuss.
You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together.
That's right.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people are always a bit conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then H.E.W., Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America, you see,
was that on the table next to him his third, fourth, or fifth scotch?
I don't know.
After saying that, before saying that shit.
Oh, I don't know if he was. Look, I don't know what the man had to drink, but no, you don't have. Look, you don't have to say you're kidding. Who knows? But I mean, damn, Byron, really?
That's next level. Wow. Listen, I used to feel this a little bit. As a gay man, there was a part of me that wanted to appeal to or be liked by or welcomed by a group that wanted me dead. For some reason, my self-esteem was so challenged at certain points in my life that I wanted like the aggressive steroided like sort of frightening jocks to like me or something like that.
No, that's some internalized homophobia right there, but go
Right.
on.
I had a lot of internalized homophobia. And I wonder if some of this is of a similar stripe, not just political ambition, because I feel like there's a lot of that going on. But, and again, ladies and gentlemen, everything I'm saying is based on feelings and not facts and my own experience. But this guy and Tim Scott and others trying to appeal to a crowd that would want them dead. They would prefer that they, you know, uh, it's so hard, Don, to sort of wrap my head around it. Why would you want the validation, the pat on the back, the approval, validation from a group of people who are on the record for hating your guts?
I can tell you.
Go.
I'm raising my hand in the class.
Help me.
Ooh, Professor Hahn, let me tell you. Okay.
Please.
So part of what you're saying is right. Wanting to be liked, wanting to be accepted by the people, because many people, if you think that's the in crowd, you want to be liked by the in crowd. Remember when you were in high school and it was the mean girls or the mean guys or the jocks or the football player?
Yes.
And so you want to be liked by them. But the other thing that I know to be a fact 100%, since having covered the rise of the MAGA movement, is that people realized early on that it was the shortest line, George, to the front, right? So if you are anyone who you think would, maybe deemed should not be a MAGA person, should not be a conservative, because you're either black or gay or a member of an underserved community, and then you realize that the people who are that they are looking for the most for contributor jobs or analyst jobs or Trump supporters. Please help us understand Donald Trump. Please help us understand MAGA. That's where I'm gonna go, because if I am sort of the traditional conservative, I'm not gonna get much play. If I am a sort of a traditional liberal or Democrat, I'm not gonna get much play. What the networks are looking for is someone to appeal to that MAGA crowd, because the MAGA crowd was over-indexed in traditional media, as you know. Let's hear what the MAGA people think. Well, there's got to be something. The MAGA crowd is whatever. And so those people realized it was the shortest line to the front. So I think Byron Donalds is realizing that it is not only the shortest line to the front, but it's also the shortest line to possibly becoming the vice president at least the vice presidential nominee for Donald Trump, or the vice presidential pick, because he's on the short list. I think he has realized that, or he just has some internalized, self-hatred or something going on, because I cannot for the life of me understand why anyone would feel that way and be authentic about it. Now, if you want to be a conservative, totally fine. I have some conservative leanings. I have some liberal leanings. I think many black people are conservative when it comes to some social issues because they are religious, right? Because of the church. But that sort of self-hatred is weird. It reminds me of the Black Klansman on the Dave Chappelle show.
God, right?
I mean, what do you think of that theory? You think I'm crazy? I sort of went on a soapbox a little bit.
No, because I'm not in your shoes. I don't know what it's like to be a black man. I know what it's like to be, listen.
But you're part of an underserved community. You're part of a minority community, but go on.
Correct. But in our society, the lottery is to be born a straight white male. I got 2 out of 3, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's like to be. I could and did for years until I was about 21, hid who I was out of like self-loathing and fear, but you can't hide being black. So it's different. So yeah, what you say and what you've brought to light with that is very interesting. I had not thought of that angle. I really appreciate that. I'm learning with you.
Are you curious at all? Do you have thoughts on, I'm curious to know, do you have thoughts on log cabin Republicans?
Yeah, they're not pleasant.
You don't think that members of the LGBTQ community can be
self-hating? Yeah, I do.
I mean, but it's mostly white men. But
yeah, self-hating. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that thrilling in bed. No. I
That boring?
oh, look at the shorts. Like, um, look at the shoes. I mean,
At least
geez.
they're out.
Yeah, that's true. They get points for that.
I find
Um,
that the most homophobic ones is the conservatives are really the ones that have the most to hide because thou doth protest too much. I was telling someone, I think it was Anthony Scaramucci about my inauguration night 2017 when Bakari Sellers asked me to go to the Trump Hotel in Washington after we had just covered the inauguration. And I said, no, I don't want to go. And he goes, why? I said, because I'm going to have to I'm going to be, having to knock them off me left and right. And he goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm telling you, there are so many closeted, repressed gay men who are married to women in that crowd. And they're going to see, oh, there's Don Lemon from CNN. They're going to want to take a picture and then they're going to start hitting on me. And he's like, no, no, no. I'm like, okay. So then about 15 minutes in, he's like, oh my gosh. I said, I'm going to be mobbed. I'm like, because they're going to say, some of them are going to want to fight me. How dare you talk about my president the way you do? And others are going to want to take a selfie. And then others are going to be like, hey, what's up? And he realized that I was right. What is that, George Hahn?
Self-hatred. Listen, tell me. I know the DNC is in Chicago. Where's the RNC again?
Oh, shit. I can't remember this year. I can't remember.
Whatever city it's in,
Yeah.
I guarantee you, go to that
It's
city,
in DNC Chicago. I forget where the Republicans are. Yeah.
wherever the RNC is being held, fire up Grinder.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that thing's gonna light up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And let's just say, and I don't want to be too specific, while my mother is still alive. But let's just say, in my experience with that sort of more conservative crowd, the more conservative and closeted they are, the weirder they are, the freakier they are. Like you start needing toys and substances.
Okay.
and gadgets. It gets weird. The self-loathing.
It's in Milwaukee, by the way. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. That's right. That's right. So fire up Grinder and Scruff, and you are going to see some odd requests. You're going to see what MWM, married white male, by married white male. Like there's a lot of that. Must be discreet on the DL. Like it's
really, really shocking. And look, I'm glad people
Yeah.
are getting that. We're teaching people in the chat that because they would have no idea. They would have no idea that happens. So, anyways. Do we want to continue to talk about these people are like, oh my gosh, they've gone way off. So I'm over that. I am over I have had it with those, with the MAGA folks. I've had it with the MAGA log cabin Republicans. I've had it with all of them. I've had it with the black and brown faces of the MAGA movement. I'm over it.
I'll tell you something. The movement comes from, and also let's not forget how the MAGA movement started. Birth certificate much? It's
Right.
founded on a racist call.
What, that was racist?
So to be black and MAGA, you're an idiot.
Wait, was that racist? You mean the
Make America Great Again, the Trump movement.
Yeah, I mean
Trump's whole political career started on the birther movement.
But how is that racist to ask the only black person who was president or who was running for president who had a shot at it for their birth certificate? How is that racist, George? I don't.
For a second, I thought you were serious. You were freaking me out. I'm so gullible.
No, of course it's racist. Of course
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Racist.
So it comes from a place of hatred and anger and rage and fury, and these are people who are used to getting, or at least the sense of having something as a birthright and getting able and feeling like they could just walk to something. But now we're in a time, look, and I'm going to use a naughty word. The real tagline of the MAGA movement is America's changing and we fucking hate it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like America's changing and we fucking hate it. That's the entire MAGA movement. The modern Republican Party is America is changing and we fucking hate it. Like that's it.
America's
Right there.
becoming more, it's becoming browner, blacker,
More female.
more supporting women,
Mm-hmm.
equal for gay people. Gay people can get
Mm-hmm.
married now.
Yeah.
And they're worried about, hey, listen, I just believe in live and let live. And look, I know that everybody doesn't agree with me. Everybody's not going to believe what I believe. But I believe that you should be, look, I will let you breathe if you believe something differently, unless you say that I should not exist. Because I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't exist. I will sit here and criticize Byron Donalds all day long because I think he's hypocritical and I think he's grifting. That's my opinion. But look, he's allowed to exist. I'm not saying he shouldn't exist. I'm not saying he should be canceled. I'm not saying that bad things should happen to him. I am free, especially under the First Amendment, in two ways, as a member of the press and as a citizen, to be able to express my opinion. And I don't believe that he should have less freedom, fewer rights than anybody else just because he's a member of the Maga movement. Now, people may think just because I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, I should not be able to get married, which means that I cannot exist in the way that you exist as an American. And for me, that is un-American. Sorry.
Amen.
We don't have to agree. So I am over those guys. And you know who I'm over the most? And I hate to give her oxygen. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, Marjorie Deliverance Green.
Yeah, as we call, wait, why do you call it Deliverance? What is that?
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I have seen Deliverance, but that's so
Did you know that movie was shot in her district? Okay, continue.
I hate. Oh, come on! Okay, you can say that. I hate doing it. I hate giving her oxygen because that's what she wants. Because she knows there are cameras in the chamber when she is, embarrassing herself by questioning Dr. Fauci, by being so disrespectful of a public servant who actually helped, gay people in America, the world, really get through the AIDS crisis. When he helped the world get through COVID, and is still continuing to do that. I think it's just disrespectful. She knows there's a camera there. She knows it's going to play to the MAGA group. She knows she's going to raise money because she's one of the biggest fundraisers. But I have to tell you, I am over Marjorie Taylor Green, and I'm just sick of it. Do we have the soundbite from Marjorie Taylor Green, how she lost her mind when they questioned her in the halls of Congress? If you do, play it, please.
No, absolutely not. I mean, everything I said is correct. It's how the American people feel. It's what we know to be a fact. It's all the evidence has been proven true. We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. Well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd, and Raskin is in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God. And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bullshit annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats. So that's what we just went through in there. And then they're sitting there, they can attack my character all day long. What's his face in there, whoever was talking last was calling me insane. But yet we can't say, oh, they're attacking my character. Oh no, it's nonstop BS and annex. You wanna know why? The Democrats don't have anything. They're responsible for the lockdowns, forced vaccinations, kids being forced to stay home, people committing suicide, and all the horrors that this country lived through during COVID. Fauci belongs in prison. He should be tried for mass murder, and he should be tried for crimes against humanity. That's how I feel after that hearing. That's how the American people feel.
Go, George.
It's like you're walking on the sidewalk on a really hot day and someone dropped a grilled cheese and it was baked in the sun and there's like some, oh God, she's like a burnt grilled cheese to me. That's what I think of when I look at her. Anyway, she is a professional agitator. She's not she's not doing anything for her district. She's not working for people. She's a professional agitator, a shit stirrer, a troll. I find, and also how does she know what the American people want? her district has like less people in it than a neighborhood of Brooklyn. Like, it's not. She doesn't really have her finger on the pulse of kind of anything, other than maybe what's playing on Fox News. But I don't. Other than being an agitator, and that I'm not saying that that's an asset or a virtue or a value, she brings no value to the American discourse, to the civil discourse of the House of Representatives. She brings no value other than to just, stir shit up. And God, the anger in that woman. Wow. I mean, she's so angry.
Well, she says, I worship God. And then she says, the F word. Not that, Christians don't cuss or whatever, but usually they don't. They're more reserved than that, more thoughtful than that, usually.
Right.
And she says she doesn't worship Donald Trump. And it's like, okay, didn't she wear a MAGA hat on the House floor? And they ordered her to remove it, and or she was sanctioned for it or whatever. Didn't she, make excuses for the insurrection? And there's so many things. If that's not worship, then I don't know. Does she even know the definition of worship?
Probably not. But if people stopped giving her the opportunity, stop platforming her.
Do you don't think that the folks on the news or whatever should be playing? Because
No.
Really, you don't think that at least they should be aware of what she's doing?
We are aware. Like, that mission's accomplished. Like, we're aware. We don't have to get everything she says. Like, we get it. She courted, that thing that we just watched, she courted that.
You think so?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't you? Like,
Yeah.
What news outlet was that, by the way? Who had the microphone in her face?
I'm not sure, but the news outlets are always there. I mean, I see,
Yeah.
gosh, I can't even remember his name, my former colleague who's always there all the time. And, just folks that just sort of chase her around to get, and they chase all the
Manu.
congressmen. Manu Raju, yeah. So, I think they're always there. There are times that you need to hear from her, but for me, it's like Trump's tweets. I don't need to hear or read Trump's tweets or alerts on Trump's tweets. I'm glad he's not on X anymore, but and he's on untruthful, unsocial. But I just don't think that. I think you can be informed without being inundated.
Did you just call it untruthful on social?
Yeah, it's not it's not very sociable, and it's
No.
not truthful. So I call it untruthful, unsocial.
Nice one.
Wait, what did I lie?
No, I like
Where's
it.
the
I've never
lie?
heard that before.
Yeah.
I think it's quite true.
Did you know?
I'm going to steal it.
I don't know if we have it, but maybe I told him to take it out. Do we have the Jasmine Crockett soundbite? If we do, you can roll it even while we're talking. If not, then don't roll it.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay.
He's advising who? What?
I love how Marjorie thinks she's got something.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here.
Do you know?
about-
Do you know where you are?
I don't think you know what you're here
President.
for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
she's still
think your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Big
Order,
mistake, Marjorie.
That's beneath even
Order,
you.
order,
the order of your committee.
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words.
Baby
That is
girl.
absolutely unacceptable. How dare you
meeting
attack
will
the
suspend.
physical
Meeting will
appearance of another
suspend.
person?
Are your
Move
feelings hurt?
her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play. with
Baby
me.
girl?
We're gonna,
I don't
We
think
are going to
so.
move, and we're going to take your words down.
I
Thank you very
second that motion.
So who will have to pay? But Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
should apologize.
recognizes
No.
Mr.
She
Perry.
should
Okay,
apologize.
hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then
Okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Comer Fudd.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the
it's
minority.
pretty
No,
self-evident.
Chair you're not.
Yeah, you're
out
not-
of order.
you don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd
the.
like to
I
strike
move to
those
strike the
words
lady's
as well.
words.
I would like to strike
Move to strike
those
the lady's
as well.
words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the
There's
words.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right,
get
okay,
your members under
here's
control.
the correct apology. Ms. Green, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll
All
strike
right.
my words,
That-
but I'm not
all right.
apologizing.
Without objection,
Not apologizing.
Reserve 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Here we go.
Who's
It's me.
Ms. Crockett?
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Oh, what now?
Chairman,
All right.
I make a
That's
I make
it.
a motion to strike
good.
those
I
words.
don't
We're
think
good.
that's
Hold on.
part of
I'm trying
it.
to find
You can stop it.
clarification on what follows.
Chairman,
I didn't-
motion.
My favorite part of the entire thing, George, is what now?
A what now? Yeah. It's hilarious, and you and I can hey girl it all day because it's hilarious. However, in that chamber, it's a bummer that we're hearing that. Like, it is such a bummer that, like, it's come to this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very entertaining, and I love Jasmine. I've met Jasmine Crockett. She's a pistol and a blast. I was at a dinner with her, and oh my gosh, I could hang out with her any day. And she's smart. You know, it's
She is
not just
very
the funny.
smart. Yeah.
It's the smart. She brings the goods. Like, she's the whole package.
Well, that's how.
And
I'm sorry. Go on. I thought you were.
no,
done.
I made my point. It's just it's hilarious. It will never not make me laugh. But at the same time, there's another part of my brain and my heart that goes, oh God, this is happening in the U.S. House.
I think that she is exactly what the party needs right now. I'm not saying everyone in the party needs to be that way, but I interviewed Cory Booker yesterday, and I talked to him about this, and he had some thoughts on, you know, where the administration is going and where the campaign's going to try to get the president's message out and his accomplishments. But I think the Democrats are too buttoned up. When someone like Jasmine Crockett, you know, when someone punches through like that, then you realize, oh, that's what the people have been looking for. That's what the people want. They have been waiting for that, waiting for someone to be able to respond to the MAGA madness with equal, if not more, firepower. They've been bringing a water gun to a gunfight, right? Democrats have. So I wonder why they're so buttoned up and so conservative when there's nothing that you can do that is worse or that will outdo the wretchedness of being found liable for sexually assaulting a woman, being impeached twice, having raw sex, or as Anthony Scaramucci says, raw dogging a porn star when your wife is at home with a newborn child, and then lying about it and falsifying business records and being found with 34 counts of a criminal, guilty on 34 counts of a criminal indictment. There's nothing that anyone in the administration, including the president, can do that's worse than that. So why aren't they out there just getting into the nitty gritty?
Getting muddy. Yeah, I get it. I get that. I do. Again, as I said, it's a bummer that it has to come to this. But you are right. Like, Jasmine punched through, and what did we get? We got someone who made a comment that was heard around the country. And
for someone who many people look.
And it was a good
Republicans,
punchback. Like,
It was
I
a
don't
good
think, and a
punchback.
lot of places, like, when they go low, we go high, really kind of works anymore. As beautiful as it sounded at the time. Thank you, Michelle. But sorry. What did Bill Maher said once? When they go low, we kick them in the nuts. Like, and that's kind of what she did, right?
I like to say what my friend Sunny Hostin of The View says. She goes, when they go low, I go to the Earth's crust. We go where the magma is in the crust of the earth.
Ooh. She really,
She does.
Okay.
I can't say that I disagree with her, because I think sometimes you have to fight back, and you have to, because otherwise people will run all over you. In the comments, let me just say, we have a poll up. We got a poll up that asks, it says, what's your favorite line? Bleach blonde, bad built, or butch body? So I'm going to leave that up there for a little bit, because I really want to know what is I'll tell you, which one is your favorite?
Just because of the way she delivered it, bad built. Like that alliteration is so good. Bad built. Although bleach blonde is good, but we hear it all the time. Bad built was just enough out of nowhere that it sounded fresh.
Yeah.
And interesting. Because we've been like bleach blonde is a phrase it's old. And butch
That's pretty funny.
It really is a
My
gift
camera's
of
a little-
alliteration. It's really a gift of alliteration.
Okay, so let me tell you.
yeah.
Let me tell you why I agree with you. Let me tell you as I wipe the camera. Sorry, because I actually sprayed bug spray out here before I got, and I think the camera was a little foggy, especially when I started. So I like bad built, and I'm with you on bad built. I like bad built because my grandmother used to say that all the time. She would say, "Oof, that lady or somebody that built up some bad. She sure is bad built." And that's an old that's
a thing.
That's real old school.
I
Oh yeah,
like
that's an
it.
old black lady thing. Oh, she's some
like
bad built. And my grandmother would also say, no one was called fat then, right? You didn't call people fat. You would say, oh yeah, you're talking about. Oh, you mean the portly built lady? That's what she would say. Someone who was big, they were portly built, and if they had a bad shape about their body, they were bad built. And Jasmine, I think, said that she actually got it too from her grandma or from something that's old school. So I love it when people bring back terms like Anthony Scaramucci brought back raw dogging. And Jasmine Crockett brought back bad built.
Have you
I think
had
it's
her
hilarious.
on?
Yeah, I had her on. She explained all of it.
she's
That's how I know that.
fantastic.
I've had her on. It is one of the highest rated episodes. But I think Democrats need more of that, and they need not be afraid. So
You have a really good point.
Yeah.
You have
So
a really good point.
just so you know why Marjorie Taylor Green does this, she's consistently ranks within the top 5 of 3 GOP top 5 or top 3, I should say, of congressional fundraisers. So that may partly explain why she has those antics, and then she's allowed to get away with it. She has free reign, and they don't want to chastise her during the hearings. Okay. Something else, George, that I'm over. I know I'm wearing the Pride, a Pride shirt that I got from Penguin sent it to me. So thank you, Penguin, for this Pride shirt that I've been wearing for years.
It's handsome. You look great in it.
Thank you. And they also sent me Pride shorts, another Pride T-shirt, and they sent me like a Pride Speedo, but I can't fit into that. What am I, 12 years old? I can't fit into this little thing. And anyway.
Could you send that memo to Fire Island for me, please?
I know. Especially,
I ran into an old friend of yours. It was your youth. It wants that swimsuit back.
After a certain age, don't you think hey,
I think
don't
after
know.
a certain age, some people just like they give less fucks. Like they just.
So wear what you want. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So listen,
I tease. I
well,
kid.
So let's talk about Pride because it is
Mm-hmm.
a summer Friday and we're having a little fun. So I hope you guys, this is our shows are different. Sometimes they're very heavy, very political. We do foreign policy, whatever, and sometimes we just do things that people are talking about. So George and I are friends, and we're just sitting around chatting. So George, gay to gay.
Yes.
I want to know what you think about Pride. I want to talk to you about Pride because I think Pride is great. I think visibility is important. You know that I've won awards from different whatever, and I cover those issues because I think it's important. But I'm kind of over it in some way. There's an aspect of it that I'm over it, and that is because this tends to drive me, a thing that tends to drive me nuts. Okay. I want to play this video. This video went viral on Twitter and TikTok. This was a few years back. It's a woman in it. You know Megan Stalter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was an up-and-coming comedian at the time, but you may recognize her because literally this video launched her into stardom. She is now on HBO's Hacks. It's in this video. She is parroting rainbow capitalism, or pinkwashing as they call it, the way corporations love to slap gay symbols on their products, never quite realizing just how odd it sometimes seems. Run it.
Hi, gay. Happy Pride Month. We are sashaying away with deals. This month at the Butter Shop, we're running a special deal. If you can prove that you're queer, you get 3 pints off your choice of creamed, chucked, or drowned butter. And if you do mouth stuff, you get 4. We love gay, and it's awesome. So come visit. And we also make candles now. Wouldn't a candle be nice for gay stuff? in the bedroom, or just hanging out. Yeah, we wouldn't. Wouldn't your partner want butter from the original old maid's home? We've been making butter since 1945, and we've been accepting all people since the last 4 months. So yeah, we're gagging for you to come take a taste of Cecily's butter shop at Cecily's Butter Shop. My friend's mom, I think is gay, so we think it's cool. Turn it off, Willard.
She is the casting find of the decade. And she is one of several reasons I thoroughly enjoy Hacks. Oh,
Yeah.
God, she is delicious.
But doesn't
to
she
watch.
nail it? Because sometimes these
Yes.
brands and companies, look, I like the support. And look, we're doing this a little tongue in cheek, but she points out just how sometimes it's like, okay, all right, we get it. But just how crazy it is sometimes with some of the Pride merchandise.
Mm-hmm. I'm not so much into the. Look, my relationship with Pride Day has been up and down. When I was in college and I had just come out, I was very much up into it. I marched in parades in Boston, where I went to school. But then I got a little sort of cynical, and I used to say that I was proud 364 days a year, and that Gay Pride Day was the one day of the year I was kind of embarrassed.
You don't like the Speedos in the street? We're going to get it.
I'm going to get, please, I'm used to it. Like, I'm just, but at the same time, now, especially with what's going on now, there's a part of me, Don, that feels in this particular political climate that I do feel like, on Gay Pride Day, on Sunday, on the day of the parade, I'm going to go down to the Village, just for a little while, just to see and be seen and be counted, and be just like another carbon-based being in the crowd. I'm not going to hang out all day. It's always too hot and humid and, gross. But, and then one year, was it last year? No, it was 2 years ago. Capehart had me down for his show. He was broadcasting live on Fifth Avenue on MSNBC, Jonathan Capehart. And it was really nice to be a part of that.
Yeah, I love that guy. Jonathan's
I do too.
a friend. Listen, I do have to say, look, Winky Campbell's in the comments. People are going to get all into these comments. Winky Campbell says, I love pride parades. I do love pride parades, too. Look, George and I can joke about it because we're like, we see it. We're in the community. We know what's up. We're like, oh, Lord. Let's see. I love pride parades, says Winky Campbell. Don, please tell me you identify as gay, says Bernie. See, where have you been, Bernie? I came out like in 2011. Beth H says, this is a really fun episode. I am proud all year long, says Dale Shin. I am too. And I think because we're members of the community, we can totally criticize. And I often wonder, I'm like, it is, usually Gay Pride is in June. It's really hot. I'm like, man, how are you not sweating in that leather? I mean, whoo, Lord have mercy.
Look, it is fantastic, and no other community that I can really think of shows up in literally the rainbow of colors that
Bye, Jacqueline Singleton says, I have to leave now. Bye. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Bye, Jacqueline. But the colors that we show up in, and this is a country where on paper we should be able to do that. And now we're in a climate where, that's what I mean when I like to sort of go down to the Village at the terminus of the parade and just sort of see the crowd and see and be seen, especially now. Because as a gay man in the United States, with what we could be up against, I'm not as comfortable as I was maybe 2 years ago.
I know, isn't that weird? Especially now with what's going on in the country. And that was one of the reasons, not the main reason. Obviously, we got married recently because we love each other and we'd been together for a while, and COVID kind of threw a monkey wrench into it, right? Because we got engaged in 2019. COVID was 2020. We were planning to get married, and then we just said, yeah, listen, life is happening. There are other things that are happening, and so we're going to wait. It could have been an excuse just to go to the justice of the peace or to get married by Zoom, and we didn't do it. So we wanted to have a wedding, and we did. But I'm not feeling as comfortable, especially if someone else is elected, and Project 2025, I may not have the opportunity and the right to get married. So we did it, and so
they're coming for it.
Yeah, they're coming for it. That Project 2025, and look, I'm going to start talking more about that as we get closer to election day, because I think people need to be informed. But listen, I just want to tell you that I don't want anybody to walk away or leave this conversation thinking that I feel pride is dumb or that it's unimportant. I think it's very
Not at all.
important. It's really
No.
important. And I want to show you why now, because a big part of this country, as George was just pointing out when he said, I don't feel as confident anymore, still gets violently angry when gay people or trans people merely dare to exist. You can feel however you want to feel about someone, but you don't have the right to tell them how to live or the right to tell them that they shouldn't have equal rights in America under the Constitution. So I want to play this. This is a woman from earlier this year freaking out over a freaking flag, over a rainbow flag. Watch this.
To San Diego, and guess what I came home to be greeted with? This fucking bullshit. What the hell is that? Huntington Beach is the town of good old-fashioned, hardworking American people. The people that worked all through the COVID lockdowns. Yes, that's right. Huntington Beach never shut down through any of the COVID nonsense fuckery. And now we're peddling this garbage? What the hell is this? The only flag that's together is that American flag. This is a disgrace to our city, and it should be taken down immediately. Whoever the hell is running this town needs to be fired. Make America great again. Make Huntington Beach.
Because for me, all right, I'm not going to apologize for being interesting. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't apologize or like feel less than, like you got to hide because you're interesting. People who are born with sort of strikes against them in our society, and I mean like people of color, women, people of different backgrounds, gay people, lesbians, whoever, we have had to get not just survive, but to thrive. We have had to learn to literally sometimes bleed, sweat, and cry to become more clever, to be smarter, to work harder, to be funnier, to be better at sports, to be better in entertainment. Find me a white guy who can do what Sammy Davis Jr. did. So find me anyone who could do what Prince did.
Well, Prince was doing Little Richard, another black man. But I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Pick your shade.
Inspired, I should say, inspired.
Right.
Yeah.
And with gay people, oh my God, the list, you know, of amazing gay men and women. I had the pleasure and privilege of doing the Normal Heart when I was in college. It was the project that led to my coming out. And there's a speech in that play that Larry Kramer wrote that is, it's beautiful. It starts with, I belong to a culture that includes Aristotle, Henry James, Tchaikovsky, Cole Porter. He just lists all of these gay people in history that were forgotten about. And it's a short list because it's in real life, it's a big one. And it also makes me think of that great Pet Shop Boys song from, I think, 1990 called Being Boring. We were never being boring. It's a great sort of quiet anthem, that song.
We are really of the same era. That's my favorite music, the 80s. I love it.
I'm not going back to I'm not going back to hiding. I'm not going to apologize for being interesting, because I had to work harder. Like as Chris Rock said really eloquently about, and I'm sorry if I'm like drawing these parallels between the black experience and the gay experience, but he said he lives in Alpine, New Jersey, and the other black people in his neighborhood are like Mary J. Blige and Eddie Murphy, and these are people who had to learn how to fly to get to what white people can just walk to, because it's like such an exclusive neighborhood, and the white guy who lives next door to him is a dentist. You know what I mean? Like these other people had to be titans in their respective parts of the entertainment industry. But the white dude next to him is a dentist, and
boy, don't I know.
Similar to, right?
Boy, don't I know. Yeah.
Holla.
Yeah.
So, for gay people, we look at what we've done in entertainment. One of my favorite slapbacks was this past year. I think it was Architectural Digest, AD, and RuPaul was on the cover. Or I should say RuPaul's mansion was on the cover. And it was such a thrill for me to see. It wasn't lost on me that this was the house. This is a black gay drag queen showing off the sickest mansion.
This is a house that drag built.
This is literally the house that drag built. And I was like, get it, bitch. Show it off.
So
you know?
let me just say,
Yeah.
make sure you hit the thumbs up, okay? Hit the like and subscribe. Cammie Tate, thank you for supporting independent media. Cammie says, Don Lemon, I'm the real Lemonhead. I love you here. This suits you better than CNN, and congratulations to you and Tim. Thank you, Cammie. I really appreciate that. And let me just say about that woman, George. By the way, you can hear the 6 o'clock bell from the church right now.
I can.
So you can hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if we hear it. It's beautiful. I love my little town. So let me just say that woman is all upset about a piece of cloth. She's all upset about the flag. They always talk about desecration of flags. I live in a red district, and I see Trump flags everywhere, all the time. You see them out on the water with people with their boats. They're flying them either higher or adjacent to or slightly below the American flag. They're wearing them on their shirts, which is fine if you want to wear it, but they're also incorporating Trump something into the flag, which would be, sort of desecration if you believed in that. In the military, you shouldn't wear your flag that way. You shouldn't, display a flag that way. So I just don't understand how someone can be so upset by a flag. If you're so upset by a flag, then don't fly a Trump flag. I have yet to see anyone ever with a Biden flag. I don't think I saw a Hillary flag. I don't know if I saw.
It's not a cult.
I saw
It's not a cult.
Obama flag. It's crazy.
It's a cult. The Trump audience is a cult. That's my feeling. I'm not asking you to agree.
Why
with
is she so upset? Why is she Karening so much?
That's a good question. Really one for her. I can only speculate. Because it ruins or pokes at her preferred narrative. And there is a narrative for a lot of Americans, I suppose, or a version rather of America that is not inclusive. I think she was saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
And she got caught in a moment, and maybe she had a couple of margaritas. I don't know. But she, frozen, of course. But what Trump has done, what the MAGA movement has done, is give these people a permission slip to come out of the shadows and speak their grievances in the open like this, because Trump has done it. And so if he can do it, and then other people are doing it, well, I'm going to do it. And I think, we've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, I think the permission slip is right. I think it's because they felt that they couldn't say it before, but they felt that finally they have like someone who is the leader, and he gives me permission. I can say it because he says it, and that's why they actually like him. So, actually, I thought like Trump is co-opting them. He is in a certain way, by getting them to give him money for his legal bills, etc. But also they're willing participants. They're marks, but they're willing
not hostages.
participants. Yeah, they're willing
They're not
participants.
Yeah.
So
There are no hostages here.
speaking of a hostage video, because I know that you've got a bug, what do you say, something in your craw that you are ticked off about this, and you thought that this was a hostage video. Now, this video that I'm going to show you is New York State's governor, Kathy Hochul. There was supposed to be a policy of congestion pricing for cars. You get to, if you drive into the city, you had to pay a certain price depending on the car and how long you're in, blah, 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 blah. And just before it was supposed to happen, it was like, what, $15 to enter the core of Manhattan?
Below 60th Street.
Below 60th Street. Okay. And then at the last minute, she called it off. So here's the governor, and then I'll let George have his rant.
From time to time, leaders are called upon to envision a better future. Be bold in the implementation and execution, and be undaunted by the opposition. But I have a few questions for you. Anybody sick and tired of gridlock in New York City? Yeah. Anybody think we deserve better transit, especially those who live and work here? Yeah. Anyone think that people with disabilities deserve to have more accessibility when they travel through this city? Yeah. Anybody want cleaner air for our kids and for future generations? Yeah. Well, then you love congestion pricing, right? Yeah. I have directed the MTA to indefinitely pause the program. Now, I want to be clear. My team worked into the final hours to find a way to implement this because the goals of congestion pricing in terms of reducing traffic and pollution are important.
Who is on the accordion? Because that was great.
What happened, George? I saw all of these things. I actually saw the governor at an event probably a month or so ago. And, you know, there are all these, have you seen these big giant readers that they have up on the street? Yeah, it was just for congestion pricing. They spent a lot of money on that. I was like, wow, this looks like sort of like a checkpoint for like a Gestapo checkpoint. It's huge, these huge machines. And now they're, and cameras or whatever they are, readers. And now, is that all for naught, at least for the moment? Like, what is going on? What happened? Did someone get to her?
Yes. First of all, this is not like legally she can be stopped and this can go through, but it's not likely that it will. I don't know the specific mechanics of that, but I do know that legally her pause can be unpaused. Second, to your, did somebody get to her? Yes, there is a theory, I think a very well founded theory, that the likes of, let's say, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries got to her out of fear of, possibly losing the House coming up. So let's not piss off those car-loving Republicans from Long Island or upstate or Westchester, so there's a little bit of that. Like she got a little talking to from Jeffries and Schumer, from what I heard on a podcast earlier today from a company or an outfit that follows this stuff pretty closely.
So then,
but
go on.
Go
sorry.
Ahead. No, that was just
okay. But then why? I thought they thought the city was a hellscape in that they don't like to come in because it's crime ridden and it's going to the dogs.
Tourism is at pre-pandemic levels. People are back. Like you walk, you live here, walk around, like people are out, man. Yeah. And the only thing that's down is office space occupancy. But with the way people are working now, I don't think that's ever really coming back in full, unemployment is down. Like employment is up, but like physically going into the office ain't what it used to be. Like today, when I was down at Vox Media, on Fridays, they must have some like come in if you want kind of a policy, because when I go to Vox Media on
Fridays, George, you've worked in an office. I mean, even back in the day.
Literally all year round though, like on Friday.
Oh.
It's their Friday thing all year round.
Yeah.
And it's like deserted. Yeah, I'm trying to think of that.
Do you remember back in the day when we started? I was surprised because I moved to New York City from Louisiana, and the people, the amount of people, the number of people who were not in the office on Friday, and it was an official thing to have summer Fridays. I had never seen that before because my parents went to work and I went to work when I lived in Louisiana on a Friday. It was like any other day, but not in New York City. There's hardly anybody in the city, which is a great thing.
There have been some days where I go down to record Galloway on Friday, and it's literally like the receptionist and me and the engineer, and that's all I'll see. I mean, there are other people around, but no. So this congestion pricing thing, like this was all a go. This was years in the making. There were jobs lined up. There were people like lined up to be employed to help install elevators in inaccessible subway stations and upgrade our system. Because for people who don't know, the money that was going to be collected from congestion pricing was going toward upgrading our public transit infrastructure. You know this about me. Other people may not know this about me. I love city life. I love
I do
city
too.
living. I love getting around on the subway. Even when I'm doing like a thing, like when MSNBC calls and I do like a Stephanie Rule hit, they insist on sending a car. I'm like, I can take the train from my apartment. It's literally faster.
It's faster. Every time I have to do like a TV hit or I have to go to some place, like where were we going the other night? Oh, we were going to the GLAAD Awards, and we got into a car, and 30 minutes in traffic. I'm like, I'm going to be late. I'm like the first person that has to present an award, and I'm not going to make it. We got out and got on the subway. I was doing an appearance on The View. They sent a car. I got in an hour and a half before I was supposed to be at The View, 45 minutes in traffic, whatever. I got out. Finally, I couldn't wait any longer. I jumped out and got on the subway, and I had to run 10 blocks in order to make my hit. It's just ridiculous. And you know, so I'm with you. I love the subway. And I know people, think it's a little weird, but I really like the subway. But I'm trying to make this relate to, because we have people
Crime is
watching.
down in the subway.
Yeah. I want this to relate to people around the country, because this has to do with the environment, it has to do with congestion in cities, and it has to do with, where resources go to make cities more livable, safer, and also, you can breathe better when you have that stuff in place.
The climate thing was the one thing in Kathy Hochul's hostage speech where she said that she's going to pump the brakes on congestion pricing. The climate was the one thing that she left unsaid.
Yeah. There is a jet going over my house. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to leave you guys with this because I think you'll love it. I actually love it because, the whole talk last week was about, or even earlier this week, was about Donald Trump at the UFC after he was found guilty of 34 counts on a criminal indictment. And he's at the UFC, and apparently everybody there loved him. That's what they said. The crowd was cheering for him. The crowd loved him. But apparently not everybody, because things aren't always as they seem. George, this is just for you. Watch. Nope. Do we have it? No.
Carol Ann.
I've asked you to keep the children quiet today.
And keep them out of the garden.
This was Donald Trump at the UFC. You guys said you would have
Is this when he was waving at no one?
No, it's not when he was waving at no one, but there was some. Here it is.
Okay.
Hey, Donald! Fuck you, Donald! Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you!
Play it again, please.
Oh.
Hey, Donald! Fuck you, Donald! Fuck you, bitch!
Oh my God. Oh, that's porn to me.
I mean, and he's still like
yeah, the thumbs up, and just like, I know we're not going to talk about it, but like 2 seconds, he's looking more worn down and tired and beaten down, and like physically, his lifestyle right now is taking such a toll, and it's palpable.
You can see it. You don't feel sorry for him?
Never. David Mamet wrote, "Never feel sorry for a man who owns a plane."
Oh,
no.
Okay, let's see. I want to see what some of the folks say before we let you go, George. We've gone a little bit longer. We've actually gone 17 minutes longer than we usually do.
I have that effect on people.
Lippy Lefty says, "Let your freak flag fly." I agree with that. Maria J says, "Definitely a cult." Let's see. Keith Brooks says, "Hate the ignorance often." I agree with you. I don't know what that is. I hate the ignorance too. Carrie King says, "That woman, she's probably dating a gay man, and she's upset that he's in the closet. She's upset because she's a closet case," says Jim Peretta. Angela Porter says, "Cult." Wow. A lot of folks are believing that this is a cult. Let's see. "Great show like always," says Tracy. Sarah Habib says, "George, facts." Joanne Leslie says she doesn't feel sorry for him. No, he brought it on himself. No one has questions for you, George. That's what's happening. Not all the clapping and cheering, says Cheryl Gibson. No, not all the clapping and cheering. I look, I feel bad when anyone is heckled, but that was satisfying.
I will never feel bad for Donald Trump being heckled. And no. So I loved how outside of Trump Tower, New York hates you, the chant. And notice he had that press conference after the trial inside.
Yeah.
Not outside, inside.
George Hahn, you are so low key and calm today. I don't know what happened. If you had a drink or, yeah.
You have
were
this
all
very
fired up.
sort of relaxing effect on me, Don Lemon.
Yeah. Well, I hope I have
we're chilling, and this is a nice conversation between two friends. We're just we're kikiing, as the kids say.
Well, that's what I've said earlier. I wanted to say earlier that we're having a kiki. So, George, thank you. I appreciate this. I love what you do. I love your honesty. And I love that you love what we do and that we have friends in common, including Kara and
I love our
Scott.
lives, Don Lemon. I love our lives, and I love how our roads intersect, and it's this is a lot of fun. I think I love our lives. I love our lives.
So listen, Lemonheads, Lemon Nation, be easy. Go easy on each other. Be accepting of other people. Let people live. And we enjoy you being here. I'm loving building this community with you. And if you're in the comments, be respectful. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. George, where can we find you?
I am at my mothership is georgehahn.com. I'm also on Instagram and Threads at George Hahn, and I'm on TikTok at George Hahn NYC.
Yeah. George, I've been saying that I wanted to do a podcast with you forever where we go around New York City neighborhoods and we give people history and we talk about and we meet people. But you kind of do that already, or did I give you that idea, or were you doing that before I even realized?
I was doing it before, and
I knew that you had the walk around Central Park that you started.
The walk around Central Park, but now I do
yeah.
the New York Minute thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, it's like, hey, look, this is Zabar's. I'm just picking one out of the thing.
Yeah.
But you go to different neighborhoods. You go to Brooklyn.
It's stuff
you go to
I
Queens,
love.
You go to whatever.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's very personal. It's very personal. It's stuff that I really, that is genuinely relevant to me in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. I've lived everywhere in New York City. I don't know about you. I used to live in Astoria. I've lived in, even outside of New York City, I lived in Jersey City when I first moved. I lived in Carroll Gardens / Cobble Hill in Brooklyn. I've lived in Harlem. I've lived on the Upper West Side. I've lived in Hudson Yards. I've lived in the Village. I've lived all over.
Now you're downtown. You're in the Village. You're in the Village.
No, you love the Upper West Side, don't you? That's your jam.
Usually. I don't love... for some reason, I'm on this like corridor where the helicopters come from Jersey.
Oh my gosh, don't get you started on that. I know.
It's a pain in the ass. And once upon a time, it was not legal. Certainly not right after 9/11. And when people would get on me about how it's the city, stop complaining about it. And I need to remind people, 'twas not always thus.
Yeah. It's the rich people taking planes to the Hamptons.
And it's the helicopter tours.
It's helicopter tours. Rich people going to the Hamptons. People going to
an airport.
Kennedy Airport and or to Newark, right? I don't know if LaGuardia has one, but yeah. And you know what? Hey, what are you gonna do? All right, George.
All right, Don.
We'll see you. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you probably on Sunday. If I come on tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'll put it in the community notes. But chances are I won't, but I will let you know. But definitely on Sunday, which is one of our favorite shows because people are getting connected back into the news, and there's always something that happens on the weekends, and we have lots to discuss. We made it through an entire broadcast, George, without talking about Diddy.
Oh my God.
Or J-Lo and Ben.
Got all fucking Ike Turner on our ass. Jeez.
All right, we'll see you, brother. Bye, Lemon Nation. We'll see you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Laters.